Big news for Hampton City Schools. Forbes has named HCS one of America's best in-state employers for 2025. We're one of only 4 public school divisions in Virginia to earn this honor. We're serious about supporting our employees with competitive pay, great benefits, and we even have our own employee health and wellness center and pharmacy. We make work-life balance a priority, and our teachers get their Sundays back. Stay tuned. Listen to learn more about Hampton City Schools on HCS Talks.
Welcome to HCS Talks. I'm your host, Superintendent of Hampton City Schools, Raymond Haynes. This is our 3rd season of HCS Talks, our Hampton City Schools podcast. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain not just our local community, but also listeners far and wide. In each episode, we dive into a variety of topics, from education and student success to the hard work of our teachers, support staff, parents, and community partners. We will also shine a spotlight on different community programs, initiatives, and more, offering valuable insights for everyone. To our loyal listeners, thank you for your continued support. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We hope you will stick around and keep listening to HCS Talks. Today, I have the opportunity to sit with 2 of our Hampton City Schools high school students, Kaleb Lucas from Phoebus High School and Saige Holden from Bethel High School, who are also our student representatives to the Hampton School Board. So thank you, Kaleb and Saige, for joining me today. Let's start off by telling the listening audience a little bit about yourselves. Saige, would you like to go first?
Yes, so my name is Saige Holden. I'm a student at Bethel High School in the Academy of Law and Public Safety in the Law and Legal Studies pathway. I was born and raised here in Hampton, Virginia, and throughout my time here, I've been able to experience many different extracurricular activities. For example, I'm a volleyball player for Virginia Wave Volleyball Club and the co-captain of the Bethel High School volleyball team.
Wow. So you say you're from here, born and raised here in Hampton. What
Yes.
elementary and middle school did you attend?
I went to Armstrong Elementary, and I also went to Kilgore for elementary and middle school.
All right. You have any siblings?
I do. My brother's name is Rain, and I have 3 older sisters.
Your brother attends what school?
Phoebus High School.
Phoebus High School?
Yes.
And 3 older sisters that all went through Hampton City Schools as well.
I think one of my sisters didn't go to Hampton City Schools, but the other 2 did.
We won't hold that against you anyways. Hampton is in the bloodlines in your family, so we'll hold to that. So you're in the Academy of Law and Public Safety. What pathway?
The Law and Legal Studies
Law and
pathway.
Legal Studies. What are your aspirations?
I would like to be a lawyer someday. I'm looking really into environmental law. I'm also looking into politics, so I feel like the Academy of Law and Public Safety lets me look at different aspects of the things I'm interested in.
All right. So you say you're also involved in volleyball. You're on a travel team? Or
Yes.
What's the name of the team?
Virginia Wave Volleyball Club.
Virginia Wave. How long have you been involved with volleyball?
This will be my 2nd year playing at Virginia Wave, but I've been playing volleyball since the 8th grade.
And you are on Bethel's team as well?
Yes.
Are you any good?
I think so.
Anyone else in your family play volleyball?
No.
All right, but you're very passionate about it. Are you looking to do that when you get in college as well? Or?
I would like to if the opportunity presents itself, but I'm interested in going to Spelman College, and they don't have a collegiate sports program.
Maybe even have some rec teams that you could perhaps start. You have that leadership drive in you. Kaleb is no stranger to the podcast and to interacting with his superintendent on a regular basis, but just for the listening audience, just in case it's their first time tuning in, please share with the listening audience a little bit about yourself as well.
Yes, sir. Well, my name is Kaleb Lucas. I am a senior at Phoebus High School. A little bit about me. This is my 2nd year serving as a student representative for the school board. I'm currently serving as senior class president over at Phoebus, also head drum major of the Phenomenal Marching Phantoms. I'm a newly inducted member of National Honor Society, and that's just a few of the things that I'm really interested in. I'm a member of the Academy of the College Experience at Phoebus High School, which allows me to take some dual enrollment credits and actually graduate with my Associates of Science, Social Science degree in May, 1 month before graduating
Wow.
high school.
So you will receive your college degree, an associate's degree in social science,
Yes, sir.
prior to receiving your high school diploma.
Yes, sir.
Does it cost your family anything?
Nothing at all.
All the cost is on Hampton City Schools.
Yes.
That's a remarkable thing. So second-year student rep to the school board, senior class president, head drum major. You don't seem like you're all that busy. Anything else you can pick up?
I don't know.
How long have you been the head drum major?
So this is my 3rd year as head drum major. So I actually went into my sophomore year in the head drum major position.
How's that experience been for you?
It was a trying one, I would say the least. Going into a leadership position, especially in a band with mostly upperclassmen,
Right.
it's kind of hard to be, I'll say more challenging to be a leader, a little bit younger than everyone else. But, it's allowed me to learn a lot about leadership, how to lead different groups of people who are, going through different experiences and things of that nature.
I'm sure it was rather seamless for you, though. I can understand how it could be challenging. You started your sophomore year, and then you were the lead for folks in their junior and senior year, but they probably recognized the talent and the intellect that you had and probably said, yes, he is the one.
I would hope so.
The Academy of the College Experience, how's that experience been for you thus far?
It's been an amazing experience. I've been able to go through that rigor of those courses and kind of recognize what my life next year going into a 4-year institution, what that may look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have the opportunity to go into some institutions as a junior.
Right.
So kind of taking that rigor and being able to go straight into more rigorous things that kind of are
have you even more prepared. So if you look
Yes.
at it from that standpoint, Kaleb, you go into whatever 4-year college you're aspiring to go to as a junior at 18 years old, then in a sense, more than likely only have 2 years or so to complete. That is phenomenal. Do you have what are some of your desires or choices that you're looking at for school?
I'm definitely looking to major in political science. I do want to go into the law field as well. I definitely want to work into going to government. My major goal is to one day hold a Senate seat.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think whatever institution that I choose, I want it to not only build me as a person, but build my career aspirations and making sure that I'm prepared to go into whatever field that may be.
So, Senator Lucas, do you have what are some of your top choices in terms of 4-year colleges?
So my top 3 colleges right now, North Carolina A&T, Hampton University, and North Carolina Central.
All right. All good choices. So we'll wait to see which one you decide
Yes.
in the end. So I'm sure I'm speaking for your parents when I say you want to look at the one that's probably giving you the most money and
Yes.
giving you the most opportunities. But I know you, along with your family, will make the best decision. So, Senator Lucas and Attorney Holden, what inspired the two of you to serve as student representatives on the school board?
Well, for me, it definitely goes back into kind of why I wanted to go into politics. One of my favorite people that I've ever had the privilege of, learning about was the late Congressman John Lewis, and he had this quote that he said quite often. He said, "It's up to us to make good trouble, to make change in our society," and that's one of the things that's always stuck to me as I, went through my schooling and just my life in general. And so, for me, being a student representative on the school board, it's not necessarily about the good trouble, but it's always about the action. So for me, being on the board, we all want to make sure that our years from elementary to high school are very impactful, and we're doing the things that will allow us to learn as much as we can to get to the next level. And so that's where the action begins. What are students wanting to make sure that they can get to their next level after they graduate?
It's all about the action. So you look at that whole concept of getting into some good trouble, but also what actionable steps are you going to put in place to ensure you're making a positive and an impactful difference? So, Saige, what inspired you to serve as student rep on the board?
Well, I've always had a commitment to service in my community. I've been serving since middle school, since I first knew how, actually elementary school. I was the president of my 5th grade class, which was amazing. And I've been able to continue to build on that through the National Junior Honor Society at Kilgore. And I'm a current vice president of the Hampton 4-H Teen Club, a Hampton Youth Commissioner. So all of these different spaces allow me to serve my community, and they've also allowed me to build a love for this community. So being able to serve the youth in this community and letting them know that someone here is listening to them and bringing their ideas to the next level is a very important role to me. And also speaking with Kaleb throughout the year about this position has definitely inspired me to serve on the board. It's just been an interesting experience watching him grow through the program and seeing where he's been.
So, Saige, it seems like you don't have enough to do either. Two of you, your plates are full, but you still continue to make a positive impact, not just in your school community, but just in the community as a whole. So, can't say... Saying I'm proud of you is an understatement, because listening to you and just the conversation, and you're saying you actually had some conversations with Kaleb prior to actually being serving on the board as a student rep. So it speaks to some of those tenets that we have outlined in the portrait of a Hampton graduate: communication, collaboration, and leadership. All that is shown quite clearly here during this podcast. You said, go back to you, Kaleb. You said you are the senior class president too.
Right.
So how's that experience been for you?
It's definitely been a great experience. I've had the privilege of, just during the campaign season, getting to kind of see what all of my fellow seniors at Phoebus want their year to look like.
Right.
And so being able to incorporate all their ideas on a smaller scale has kind of helped me in this role, seeing how we could come to a consensus of what different students like. Every student has the same necessities, but being able to come to a general consensus to see that everybody or the majority is fulfilled.
Right. And Saige, you said that you were the 5th grade president at Armstrong. Did you parlay any of that? I know you said you had some leadership roles at Kilgore and then your 4-H club vice president right now. How about in your class? Are you looking at some point in time when you become a senior to perhaps run for senior class president?
I actually have ran for office every year. That hasn't gone great, but I do hold a lot of other things in my community and at my school. I just ran for and won the vice president of the Mu Alpha Theta, which is the Math Honor Society.
Yes.
I'm currently running for Science National Honor Society vice president, but we find out about that a little later. And then I also am currently a lead academy ambassador for the Academy of Law and Public Safety, which is nice, being able to keep everybody together through the academy. Ambassador experience has been great.
Some more great leadership experience. Talk about the 4-H club. What types of things do you all do with that?
We do everything. I love 4-H. We are able to go on some 4-H trips. I went to the 4-H Ignite conference in Washington, D.C. I was able to meet 4-Hers from across the nation and from Canada, which was very interesting. We were able to make projects to bring back to our communities. The project that I was able to make with my 4-H Teen Club was about teaching urban youth about agriculture, which was very interesting because our kind of motto there was that a lot of youth can't say where their food is coming from. And they kind of more think about, the grocery store is where the food that I'm eating comes from, but where it really comes from is really important in knowing about. And I think that 4-H is definitely what has driven my love for the environment and maybe environmental law in my future. So 4-H has inspired me in every aspect of my life.
It's interesting because oftentimes people don't think about the agriculture and how and where the food comes from, but just being able to be a part of that and educating folks in the community, I'm sure is pretty rewarding for you as well.
Yes.
So Kaleb, this is your second term. What made you want to return, and how has your perspective changed since last year?
Well, for me, I think in my first term, I definitely had the opportunity to kind of, see just how much students really enjoyed, being in school. and that's something that we may not see all the time, but students really do enjoy being in school. And so my goal in returning was to make sure that, some of the things that I had the privilege of helping be a part of when it comes to events or different opportunities where I had to share my voice, making school the best that it could be. The second year, I wanted to kind of, see where else, my voice could be prevalent, or the students' voices rather. And my perspective from last year, it really just has, been heightened more on. I would say in my last year, we kind of I had a focus on kind of celebrating the things that we see from our students, and I think we should continue with that. But this year, I really want to see, like what other things can students bring out. So as Saige was talking about, like some of those environmental projects, a lot of students are really interested in things like that. So I wanted to see, like, is there any opportunity for students to, kind of get involved with that in Hampton City Schools and see if some of those projects could be brought out. So I think that would be
Makes a whole lot of sense. One of the things I know you and I have talked about over time, Kaleb, is making certain when you're representing the student body and that you look to ensure that you are getting a good representation from the entire student body. Oftentimes, Saige, is easy to focus on the ones who may be the loudest about their opinions or concerns, but not necessarily tapping into that person who's quiet but also has a lot of value to add and a lot of input, and looking at the different pockets of students based on whether they're in certain academies or pathways or even just their own personalities. So I would encourage you all to make certain you engage with them and just get some insight on what things that we can do to make their school experience more positive overall, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Yes.
So Saige, as a brand new representative, what has surprised you the most so far?
I would say the environment of being on the school board and being a school board representative has been definitely interesting. It has been a lot more of a comfortable experience that has allowed me to be confidently myself. For example, I'll bring it up, the chair that I took away from you.
I was not going to bring up the chair that you took from me your first day on the job.
But it wasn't a big deal in a bad way. It was more so a joking matter. So I think that the environment that I've been able to experience here has been amazing. And I'm excited to go out into my schools and listen more to what students are saying, because like you said, sometimes it's about listening to the students that don't get the chance to speak about their opinions. So that's definitely been surprising, being able to see who really has something to say.
Right. And I think it's important because whether you realize it or not, folks are watching and looking up to you. And I think it's a great opportunity for you to engage with your entire student body. And like I mentioned earlier, not just the ones who are the most popular or the most opinionated. That quiet person has a lot to say and share as well. And to get that input and insight from them, I think would be invaluable for you. So why is it important for students to have representation on the school board?
Well, I can talk a little bit about that. Students often, have they have a lot that they want to see done in their school, in their school districts. There's often a focus on sports for many students. There's a focus on academics for many students, but a lot of students is community service or maybe the arts, things of that nature. So it's important to have representation on the school board because a lot of times students don't know who to talk to, right? They know to maybe bring it up to their admin, and their admin bring it up to, their bosses, and it is going through the pipeline, so to say. But for students to, be on the school board, it provides a more of a easier way for things to, be done and to be represented for those students.
So the voice, it just flows naturally because they can come to one of their peers and talk about things.
Yes.
How about you, Saige?
That's what I was going to say about speaking with peers. I think that we have a more comfortable environment speaking to our peers, like someone coming up to myself or to Kaleb to talk about their concerns or things that they like that are happening in Hampton City Schools, but they may not feel as comfortable going to their admin or, reaching out to a school board member about those things. So I believe that having the student representative on the school board is important to making those people feel heard who don't know how to speak to those concerns.
And having those connections, I hear a lot, and just in my years of living, I developed some good life experiences. And one of the things I try to get folks to focus on nowadays, yes, we want folks to bring things to our attention in terms of how we can improve, because we're always looking for continuous improvement, but also to showcase and highlight what's going well, what you'd like to see more of. I like this. I'd like to see more of that. I think this would get young people more further engaged in having school spirit and being more involved in activities overall. So also just get input and insight from them about what's going well for them and what they'd like to see more of, if that makes sense. So what issues or topics do you think students are most passionate about this year?
Going back to what we were kind of talking about when it comes to community service and kind of getting into the environment, I think students are really passionate about serving their local community. I think that's always been something that they've been really passionate about. But for some reason this year, it's been a real uptake in students wanting to serve their community, whether it's serving in their local elementary or middle schools, whether it's serving in the environment, any trash pickups, things of that nature, coming up with projects in order to serve in any aspect. Students are really wanting to be the change that they wish to see, and I think that's very powerful.
Well, that's actually good to hear. Serving their local community, giving back to the community that is poured into them, I think is critically important for us to sustain the great things that we have in place. Saige, what are your thoughts?
I think students are really interested in leaving an impact and a legacy at their schools. I've seen a lot of new clubs arise at Bethel High School, at least, and looking on social media and looking at the other schools as well, seeing the student involvement and the completely student-led programs. For example, my school, my friend Michelle just created an African Students Association with her friend Denise, which I think is very interesting at our school, something that we've never had before. People are also making the Christian Athletes Fellowships and those things at my school, and I've seen them at other schools. So I think that's interesting, the passion for contributing and giving back to your school and having something that has your name on it to come back and see when you come back to see your school.
Just taking the lead in creating some initiatives and programs that did not exist before.
Yes.
And that's part of, like you said, leaving that impact and legacy. I started this, and hopefully it will continue on for years to come. So what are some goals you each have for your time as student representatives?
For me, some goals that I would have is to help students have love for their community and their city of Hampton, like I've been able to develop over the years. Like you said, a lot of people want to bring their concerns and complaints to the school board and officials, but I think it's also important to just take a moment and look around and see what is it that you love, what inspires you in the community, and how can you bring that to your school community, to your home, and how can you kind of use that love to pour back into the community? Because what you love, you can always kind of pour back into.
Wow. I love that, Saige. That was
Thank you.
Nicely stated. Kaleb?
Kind of piggybacking off of what Saige said, I think love is something that's very important when we talk about serving our communities. One goal that I kind of have is a lot of times when we talk about advocating for our students and making sure things are getting done, there's a lot of walls that are up metaphorically, and for a lot of students it's hard for them to find ways to kind of get their points across with their admin, or they may feel as though it's kind of difficult for their ideas to get across. So I think just moving with empathy, kind of enforcing that empathetic move around the district. I think we do a great job with that. However, I think there's never too much empathy, right? And so when we continue to move with empathy and kind of reinforce that, I think it makes it easier to have conversations across the board.
Well, it speaks volumes to a lot of the work we're doing intentionally around social emotional learning, too. When you talk about empathy, love for your community, things of that sort, it helps for us to make a more well-rounded individual. And when we talk about that portrait of a Hampton graduate, it's not just about academics. It's about the total being and your involvement in the community and what lasting impact or legacy you want to leave behind. So, Kaleb, what advice would you give to Saige or to future student representatives about making the most of this experience?
Some advice I would give, definitely, I would say remember what your goals are at all times. A lot of times in leadership, it's easy to get caught in the waves of everything that's going on, get caught in the noise that's happening around you. But it's important to stick to what your goals are and ensure that you're doing what you have to do to make sure those goals come to pass. You talked about a little bit about your goals about of displaying the love that people have for their community. And I think that as a student representative, it's important to make sure that that goal is the forefront of everything that you're doing.
Great advice. Great advice. Saige, what impact do you hope to make during your term?
Especially just continuing with the love of the community. I would also like to have people bring their concerns. Of course, we see that love for the community, but having an impact where we can bridge the gap, the communication gap there that's between students and their school board members. I think that that's important. I would also like to teach people more about how to speak with adults, maybe in a more professional manner, because having representatives is great, but being able to speak to these people yourself is even better. And I think that I would like to be a part of that, kind of making that change in Hampton to where there's more candidates for school board representatives because people are able to speak better, and also just bringing those interests and opinions to the table. It
helps with your speaking and written skills and just leadership overall.
Yes.
And it is something I think that folks have to be intentional in terms of helping people to understand how to do it,
yes,
how to ask the right questions, how to engage with adults, how to express yourself and provide the input and insight from others as well. And I think you're already on the right track to do some great things. One of the things you mentioned earlier in terms of working with folks as a whole is that legacy piece and,
yes,
and the love for the community. Just making certain that you model what that means for young people overall. Your work as a lead ambassador probably entailed for you too a lot of that training in terms of how to have engaging conversations. You all want to talk a little bit about that?
For me, I would say that, yes, the Lead Ambassador program has definitely improved my ability to speak to others. But I think also just in general, the Lead Ambassador program has changed my life. It has brought a lot of people and relationships to me that have furthered my ability to be at the table, speaking with people, expressing my interests more deliberately, and just being there for what I want to be there for.
Mm-hmm. Kaleb?
And for me, I had the pleasure of serving as a lead ambassador for the previous school year. And that opportunity for me, I had the opportunity to kind of, do some deep diving about myself and my leadership style, but also how to lead with, other leaders, mm-hmm. right? Because a lot of times as a leader, we are so used to being the person who listens or the person who does the talking. But when there's a bunch of other leaders around you who also like to do the talking, how do you come to, a consensus? So that was one of the things that I learned, and it was really impactful for me.
Those are some great points, but when you're looking at leadership as a whole, sort of like what you said, Kaleb, you also, as a leader, you also must learn how to follow, too.
Definitely.
Yes.
And when you have other leaders in the room who are offering different perspectives on things, that's the time to sit there and sort of listen intently and be able to soak up all the knowledge that you can. So, Saige and Kaleb, how do you gather feedback or perspectives from other students to bring to board meetings? And how can students best connect with you to share their ideas or concerns?
For me, I think I give a very comfortable and approachable environment for people, whether that be in the community or in my schools. So that's kind of how I'm able to gather that feedback through the clubs that I'm in, but also just regular interactions out anywhere. And I take note and keep these concerns or interests in the back of my head. And as they become more prominent, I hear more about them. Or if I just hear about it once and it really sticks with me, it's something that I think I would want to bring to the board And to best connect with me, I would say that I'm very reachable. My school email, which I know that is kind of hard for some people, I would say like for students, that would be a great way to reach me. And then also walking up to me in any setting, I'm always able to talk.
So you see yourself as approachable.
Very. I think I'd like to talk, and I will talk all day if you want me to.
Makes sense. Kaleb?
I'll say for me, especially in the past year, one of the biggest things that we were able to use to get feedback was social media. You know, a lot of students are prevalent on social media. They're following, Hampton City Schools pages, the pages of their schools, and so they're always up there. And I'll give an example really quickly. Last year we were able to share the information about the cell phone usage, the change of policy on that, and we were able to share some of those pamphlets and the website that was created in order to get that information out. And students had a lot of questions, and so we were able to kind of answer some of those questions, take a poll of some of the things that students were feeling, some of the questions that they had, and that was a really impactful thing to kind of see that we can use social media, a thing that we use ever so often, to kind of be a change maker. And I feel like that's the best way that students can connect with us. Of course, we can use the email, we can talk in person, but social media, I feel like, has been a bridge for so many things around the world. And so to be able to use that for representation for us on the school board and even in our district, I think that's very impactful.
Social media can be used for a lot of positive things.
Definitely.
And you just gave a great example as to how and why. And looking at all that you all have before you, it just speaks volumes to you continuing to take on some leadership roles and responsibilities as well. And just being deliberate and intentional on how you provide information to the board. You gave some great insight last year when we were going through that cell phone policy and the adjustments that needed to be made. And I know the board appreciated not just the input, but how you delivered it. Very respectful and meaningful as well. So you want to think about that when you decide what you need to bring to the board versus, is this something, if a young person, one of your peers brings something to your attention, is this something that's just school specific, and should I just bring it to my academy principal or the executive principal or school counselor? Or is this something that relates to the school division as a whole in terms of policies and procedures? So I know you, in your experience, you've been very good at that. I cannot recall a time when you brought something to the board that was not specific to a school. It was something in general, and it spoke to policy implications. So just being mindful when you're having those interactions, is this something directly related to Bethel High School and something I need to work through the school administration? Because even though you're the student rep to the board, you also could be the voice for your school as well, and having that conversation or ongoing communication with your academy and executive principals, and just being able to be intentional about discerning which is which. Definitely. And sometimes you may not know. You could just bring it, and then we can actually say, hey, you may want to go back and talk to Mr. Coakley or Dr. Howard about certain things as a whole. So as we wrap up, Saige and Kaleb, what is one word you would use to describe your school community?
For me, I would definitely say innovative. Students are ready and prepared for the next opportunity. They're ready to jump at it. Whatever they could do to be the change, whatever they could do to, as Saige was saying, leave their legacy. Students want to make sure that when they leave these walls, they're leaving something better than they found it. So I think that's that innovation. They're looking for whatever changes they can make, whatever impact that they can make on their school. Excellent.
Saige?
For my school, I would probably say prideful. I think that we are very, very proud to be Bruins, and kind of like what Kaleb just said, but just about having our own identity as Bethel Bruins is very important to us. What we do at Bethel and what we have at Bethel, all of the schools have a similar outlook, and we all have the same goals, but I think that the students at Bethel really bring that individuality to our school.
Wow. It's our promise and commitment to you to make certain you walk across that stage, a portrait of a Hampton graduate, prideful and innovative, prideful at the home of academic excellence,
Absolutely.
and innovative where your purpose is greatness every day and every way. So glad to be sitting down with a Bruin and a Phantom this afternoon. You all gave some great insight, and you all are representing the school, the student reps on the school board in an exceptional manner. And I thank you, Saige and Kaleb, for taking time from your day to visit and sit down with me. I wish you both a great rest of the school year. And Kaleb, I am looking forward to seeing you cross that stage in June, actually May and June at the graduations. And to our listeners, remember, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. As one community, one transformation, we will ensure academic excellence for every child every day, whatever it takes. Until next time.
Listen to learn more about Hampton City Schools. New episodes of HCS Talks drop on Thursdays. Subscribe and listen to HCS Talks. HCS Talks is a Hampton City Schools production.